Now we hear from a former Chinese vice mayor who fled to the U.S. for fear of the CCP's persecution. In the first part of our interview, he gives us a closer look into the Chinese regime's handling of the pandemic.
Chואan-liang had been a vice mayor in a medium-sized northern China city, GC, before he finally quit the job 3 years ago. The outbreak of the CCP virus brought a change to his life. He told us his story. His decision to leave was triggered by the detainment of a district leader of his city named Kong Lingbao. At the initial stage of the outbreak, Kong witnessed the growing number of infections in public and had concerns, so he talked about the situation openly on several occasions. But he was then told by the CCP disciplinary committee not to talk about the virus.
They warned him not to talk at will and said central government has a standard answer. You can only say what you are allowed to say, period.
But after a mere 2 weeks, more and more people got infected and some people died. The only 2 hospitals in the area were exhausted. As the situation got worse, the speech control got more stringent. Kong continued to talk about the situation, but only in his workplace and in private conversations, not in public. Kong then got an official warning.
The second warning means you cannot talk about it anymore. The upper leaders said you cannot say things unless they've been verified by CCP propaganda officials. You cannot talk about it without CCP official consent.
From seeing that people were dying and not being able to talk about it, Kong was tremendously affected. Kong began to complain among his circle of friends that he could no longer work for the CCP.
He said the CCP asked them to do nasty jobs, and he cannot work for the CCP anymore. He's used as a scapegoat. He then said something else.
Unfortunately, Kong's remarks were recorded and reported. 3 days after, he was removed from his position and arrested, and his home and office were searched the same night. Later, CCP media accused him for 2 reasons: improper remarks and epidemic prevention failure. Lee told us the so-called epidemic prevention failure charge was used because improper speech cannot be a reason for the detain and search.
There is no rule of law or freedom of speech if he is caught for improper speech. What's more, what he said was the truth, the right thing. He said it for the people. All he did was just to speak some truth.
Chואan-liang got bad news. After his friend Kong is interrogated, he may face a 10-year imprisonment. And the police now have their eyes on Kong's circle of friends.
Why did I run away? I sensed danger. I talked with him too, and I must also be on the recording.
He says he knows very well how the CCP will handle it. The fear has driven this 57-year-old man away from his homeland. Safety is the priority. However, the journey of his escape is not that easy, and we will continue the story in the second part. Reporting by Xu Wenhui, NTD News.